Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon if you're in Europe. Hello. Hello, yo, Lucifer. How you doing? Today is the day. It is the day of you every other week of
Show us what you got!
where we look at your miniatures and give you critique and feedback. So make sure you edit them to say if you want critique or feedback, or they will be skipped. How is everyone doing today? Okay, let's see. I need to bring this on my phone. Oh my god, League of Legends Classic. Yippee, too bad I'm not going to play League anymore. Because League is boring. A lot boring, it's just bad now. And I don't want to brick my computer with a Vanguard. Oh, but okay, let's see. Where did we leave off last time? This is the fun part. Trying to find where I left off. I'm pretty sure I put a separation there. Yeah, I did. Okay, there we go. I did indeed put a separation. Yes, me VTuber. What's so wrong with that? The new biker guy is pretty neat. Gotta make them chaos. Yeah. I still think those should have came out in 9th edition. Back when they were actually new and people gave a shit about them. I have been a VTuber for like, what, 3 years? 4 years now? I forget. But I'm eventually going to get a new model. That's the little Neko arc. Okay, let me start opening some photos. So watching stream, thought you were more of a guy who streamed with a webcam. Nah, because then I'd actually have to put effort into looking nice and getting ready. That's the one reason I don't use a webcam too. Plus, I like my anonymity. Being anonymous is nice. Yeah, I need to move this. Because that's the one thing people forget about people that do face cam streams. They have to make themselves look presentable. And presentable for me is I have to shower just to wet my hair, and then I have to put hair products in it, because if I don't, I have an afro like Bob Ross. Okay, that's a shitload of miniatures from Chris. Jesus Christ, man. I think next time they should just do one giant group photo would be better. Also, bought the Tyrannus Battle Force alongside the Battle for Trophies box. Nice. It'll be perfect for painting streams. Yes, but I don't wanna. I don't want to use a webcam. Maybe if I hit 100,000 subscribers. No, still no. Or maybe eventually if I do IRL games. Maybe. Probably not. Oh my god, how many of these are there, Chris? My guy, just do a group photo next time, please. Or do lances or stars. Do that. I'm just gonna do the front profile. I think I don't need that one. getting skipped. Emperor's least favorite child does not have critique or feedback. This person isn't in the server anymore. Okay, this is going to be hard to see, but please, if... no, it's cinematic, but don't take photos outside, please. And also, if you do, make sure your stuff is actually in focus. Okay, they're just testing the scheme for this, so this isn't really going to be looked at again. Nutrient Battle Force being pretty weird for me. Quite a lot of the same units from the start. Yeah, that's how I'm noticing a lot of new battle forces are, or just the new combat patrols in general. They're just the new edition box. Is all they are. Okay. I am not going to look at the photos with the flash on because those are way harder to see. Bit sad that I missed the previous box. What, the Indominus box? You can still find that thing on eBay for not like a ridiculous price. Or you can find halves of the box for like a decent price. Because push fit. Second mini ever. Criticize it. Okay. Let's see how many. I just said we got a lot of bugs. Ah, okay. And I'm guessing importing it would be too expensive. Why is there a gotcha character thing in the... What the heck? They don't even... Okay, they don't even have if they want critique or feedback, so that's just getting skipped too. But yeah, if your thing doesn't say critique or feedback, it's getting skipped. There's a few people that didn't even put critique or feedback. There's like 4 or 5 people I just skipped. Because they did not say what they want. Jesus Christ, Dumb Panda paints fast. No one plays GCR cults and literally got their battle force for the price of the comic control. Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing is that some armies aren't as popular as others. And so certain stuff rots on shelves for a while, so you know, like... Don't really do. But yeah, I can tell what people don't play at my game store based upon what's at the game store still. Like, what is it? The Tau Christmas box or the Tau Battle Force box is still there months later. And I've been to the game store like a couple times in the past few months and no one's buying it. Granted, it's the Farsight one, so... I mean, advice, I guess, count. Space Souls and crude army sets of the Chaos Station Battle Force, each and every one, you tell me. Good thing. Hello, Leiforian, how you doing? Single Saturnine. That's kind of understandable. That it would still be there. Okay, we got decent amount of submissions today. So let's start looking at some miniatures. So it is time for...
Show us what you got!
Okay. Let's see. Where's that thing? Where's that source? Is that it? Nope. Well, that is...
I'll take your entire stock!
That is not it, but... The fuck? I don't even know either. What the hell is it? Okay, there we go. And who wanted to take my entire stuff? Wincado, hello, welcome. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I thought it was actually the same in all countries. Yeah, it might differ. For example, G-Sir Gold's Tower, not that Tower also not that popular because people compare them to communists and don't buy this faction movies because of that. Yeah. Yeah, that happens too. But yeah, I think for my game store, the most popular faction, of course, I think is Space Marines. Because the Space Marine Battle Forces, there's none of them. They also had the new Guard one, whichever one it was, I forget. They had some Guard stuff, but country is within the USSR. Yeah. That'll do it. But yeah, my game store has a variety of stuff, but I think Tau is one of the ones people don't care about. And also we have a shitload of Horus Heresy stuff. Like there are, I think the old Horus Heresy 2nd edition box is still there too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think the Age of Darkness box, there's still like 1 or 2 of them at my game store. LGS, they bought Yarrick a lot, so there's a decent amount of Guard players around, and I'm scared. I'm gonna get dorned so bad. Well, assume the position then. And yes, sadly, Ickbard is not going to be here today. He has to do stuff. Anyone actually plays Horus Heresy? I hear the people buy some things because Custody stuff. Yeah, that's one of the things too. Plus, like most Custody stuff can be from Horus Heresy can be used into 40k. But the problem is, a lot of people before 10th edition were using a lot of Horus Heresy stuff in 40k. And then GW threw all that shit into Legends and pissed everyone off. And now their Horus Heresy stuff that can't be used in 40k is just rotting on the shelves. I think that's why going forward from now, all their Horus Heresy releases are going to be 40k compatible. Because they realize they're losing a shitload of money just printing a bunch of 40k, 30k stuff that no one's buying. Like the paint not playing them, yeah. Melodies use Heresy kits as proxy 40k. Yeah, exactly. That's what people are doing. They're proxying it in 40k, or they're just not buying it at all. Yep, no problem. Okay, so yes, first up, let's get to the show what you got. So first up, we have, if I scroll all the way up to it, we have Jimothy. Give me that feedback. Yeah, I know the gold is shitty. Yes, the gold is, well, actually no, the gold isn't that bad. It's just you didn't, the opacity isn't completely there is your problem. Because I can see the black base coat underneath it. Aston Miltron proxy. Yep, that's because they have the 30k guard, so people are buying that instead of the new guard. Excuse me. Yeah, so for this miniature, yeah, your gold, all it needs is just you need to make sure it's on there, like, you reach full opacity. Because the gold looks fine. It's not opaque. Aston Militarum 10th sucks. Not really. Imperial Guard were actually pretty good in 10th edition. They were pretty good. They were a lot better than in a few other factions, that's for sure. Some white spirits plus oil paint will help like custodies a lot. Yeah. Yeah, it will. Well, the problem is, it's not the white spirits and oil paint will help. That will, like, just help the recesses, though, but it's not going to help with the paint that's not, like, completely opaque. Paul suffering from guard was fun. Yes, it was. It was funny. I mean, the comic patrol. I just hate those 10 horses. Ah, yes. The horses. See how at the top of it, it's all splotchy? You can still see the black underneath it. That's because the paint isn't completely opaque. Plus, you see it pooling in some areas. You can really see it on the shield right here. It's just that the paint isn't completely covering it is why. All this needs is just the paint needs to be more opaque and uniform around it, and then it'll be good. Because I feel like what they might have used was... I'm trying to think. They might have used the, what is it? That Vallejo, like the alcohol-based Vallejo paint, gold paint, whatever it is, True Metal, or whatever. Yeah, it will help it pop. And also painting some of the gems too. But yeah, I don't think... Honestly, if it was me, I would strip this and redo it. And just use a different gold. True metallic metals alcohol. Yes, they're true metallic metal paints. Or no, not sorry. They're, what is it called? I have one. I don't use it because it only works good from an airbrush. It is their... Oh, it's their... What's this one called? It's the liquid metal. That's what it is. It's Vallejo liquid metal. Vallejo liquid metals, those are alcohol based. And they work best through an airbrush. So if you ever buy those paints, only use it with an airbrush because it kind of sucks to brush on. Which is what this might be because it looks like that's what it is. Not sure, but yeah, that's just my critique for it. This kind of... I know they know it's shit, so I'm just going to do this anyway.
Boo! Not cool!
But yeah, do those fixes that I said and they'll be a lot better. Thank you for sharing. Okay, next we have a huge photo dump from Chris. Advice on weathering the via red, brown, or sand oil paint is needed or not. Well, I mean, it depends if that's what you want to do. Because right now what you're doing is you're doing the heavy metal effect, which means you're edge highlighting more or less the weathering with oil paints. Kind of... I feel like that's more if you're doing... excuse me. Doing the more realistic looks, so like using sponge chipping and all that stuff. Because you already have the panel lining. Really, all you need to do with Battletech miniatures and this type of style is panel lining. The radar scan base, yeah, that is cool. That is very nice. Plus, also the flames are pretty good too. Especially because of the scale for these minis too. So you want to do that. And then also too, I do see that you're not completely doing the highlight. And I do see that you're doing the secondary highlight, but only on the highest points, but you're kind of being inconsistent with it. Because some areas I see the brightest highlight on like the edge, and then other areas you have it going along the entire panel. So may do one or the other is what you should do for that. But yeah, I feel like for this type of paint style that you're going for, panel lining is a bit better. Because if you do the oil washes, you're going to significantly darken down the bright red and the yellow, which could possibly ruin the yellow too. So maybe not do that. And then also, of course, your highlight lines are a bit too chunky. And some of your paint is a bit too chunky too, like the cockpit glass in some areas. Plus also you didn't wash the metallics. So I think that's the main thing, is just it needs panel lining and like thinning your paints a bit. But the bases are nice. It's just, yeah, just needs panel lining, I think is what it is. Because I have not used oil paints in a long time. Like, last time I used the oil paints was like 3-4 years ago, and I never used them since. But like what I remember from it is that certain oil paints, it will stain your miniature, even if you get it off with mineral spirits. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Because if you use a brown one like they want to, I got a question about your video preview. Middle laws of the copyright, so can you? Yes, you can. You can use photos of Games Workshop stores. Everyone does that. Because it's fair use. You're not claiming it as like, this is your own kind of, your own photo is the thing. As long as it says it is not licensed, then you can use it. So what I tend to do is I avoid using fan art is what I do. Because then that gets into the whole thing of, oh, you use my fan art without without permission. It's just easier to use official GW art. Because GW is fine with you using stuff. Like, GW is fine with using that as long as you don't sell it yourself. I'm not selling it. I'm just using it for a video. And it falls under fair use, too. Because it's transformative material. Transformative because I'm talking over it and using it for commentary. But yeah, so oil paints will stain your work. They'll stain it. But I mean, the mechs look nice regardless. Oh. Plus, also, I feel like they said red, brown oil paint or sand oil paint. I feel like if you go sand, it's going to be a bit too bright. Is what's going to happen. And it's going to probably cause issues. You can explain that because your channel got bugs. Bugs worth 400k, 1.4k points. Okay. So yeah, you're going to be ruining the blue cockpit glass too. So what I would do is if you want to test it, is if you have any like multiples of certain mechs, which I'm sure you do, I would test with those first to see what you like, but just based off my experience in painting with oil paints, you want to be very careful of where you apply it. And this would just benefit more from, again, doing some panel lining. But the problem is, where you have the red, you would need a red panel liner, and then for the yellow, you would need a yellow panel liner. Is what you'd have to do. Ah. Michael Lomax, thank you for the YouTube subscribe. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much all of them are the same. It's just work on the highlights and making them more consistent. Thin down your cockpit glass paint a bit more because I can see it's kind of chunky. And then also wash your metallics and panel line. Is what I would do. It's a gargoyle. Yes, very, very nicely painted miniatures. Just so what I would work on is just be more consistent with your edge highlighting. Thank you for sharing.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, next up we have Ernie Like Hemingway. My 3 latest minis. Like her to request some tea because I feel like kind of stuck with painting. They would try to make it really beat up like on Last All Profile level beat up. I don't know what stuck is. Does that mean you just have like painter's block, I'm guessing? Oh, and I see you took these photos on a Samsung Galaxy A55 5G. Is the let's oh, Crimson Fist, okay. Okay, so I mean these look good. See, what would I critique about these? For this one, I'm noticing that you have weathering on certain parts, but none on the helmet, so maybe fix that. Like, if you want to make it look beat, you kind of have to make it consistent across the entire miniature. Because I see you have it on the legs, you have it on the fist, you sort of have it on the shoulder pad, although I understand that's a tiny part. And you have it on the chest plate too, but there's not really much on the head that I can see. Yeah, like that, see? You also have it on the backpack, the boots. Was there any highlighting on the red on the front? Yeah, there was. Add text on the banner. Yeah, the center portion right here, although that would have to be them either painting it like paper color and writing on it, or what they do is they try and do it in metallics, but I'm not sure that would come out very well. But yeah, for this miniature, I feel like it's fine. Decals maybe. The thing I've noticed, I think with do they do decals? I can't remember. I think pretty sure they do decals. Problem is just finding decals small enough. Yeah, they use decals. But I mean, wait a minute. Shouldn't this part right here be gold also? Why is it green? I think you forgot to fix that. Where can you put your minis for feedback? Looks dope on the... you put them in the channel called Show Us What You Got, and make sure you actually agreed to the rules of the channel. Yeah, so you have to agree to the rules of the Discord. Which means you have to read the rules first in the channel called The Rules. If your name isn't green and you did agree to the rules, you have to wait 10 minutes and try again. Basically, your name just has to be green, and then you'll be able to post in that channel and just post photos in general. Yeah, and also that's also important too. Type if you want critique or feedback, or you're getting skipped. Because there's already 5 people I did not add to this because they didn't put critique or feedback. But yeah, for this one, you need to fix up the gold too. Because you got some green overspill on the gold. Like it's right front and center. Right here. So you want to fix that. Can you even see my cursor on stream? No, is my cursor not showing up on stream like it used to? Oh, no, it's not. Interesting. Usually my cursor would show up on stream on previous streams. Oh, yeah, it's showing up. It just doesn't when zoomed in. So yeah, right here, fix this because you have it. The trim is gold everywhere else, but not right here. So fix that. And then also you do have some green overspill on the gold. So little touch-ups for this would be good. But other than that, this mini is fine. So I guess see if you can... Productions MS, I think, for the YouTube subscriber. Oh yes, also, I have hit 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So that means it's time to do a Warhammer 30k video in the future. I'll have to do that after I'm done with all the 11th edition TLDR videos. Which I think I have, let's see. The next one is Force Dispositions. One after that, I think it might be list building again. And then I'm not sure what the one after that's going to be. But I've got a couple of 11th edition videos in mind that I have to do still. And probably by then I'll have 40,000 subscribers. And I'll have hit the funny Warhammer number. Yippee. Okay, but yeah. This miniature I feel like is fine overall. Just a few minor things to do. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so this is one they said they wanted to make look beat to hell for Last Wall Protocol. Oh, excuse me. Okay, where is that miniature guy? Okay, here. Yeah, Crimson Fist really beat up the Last Wall Protocol level, but yeah. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. I like this. He is appropriately beat to hell. Blood is randomly splattered all over him, which is good. Although in some areas it looks like he brushed it on, which I wouldn't have done that. The little micro scratches are pretty good. So is the weathering effects. The music just paused itself? Okay, no, it didn't. Thought the music paused itself. Who the fuck is pinging me? I noticed right here, this is just nitpicking. You didn't, thank you for the hydrate. A bit of nitpicking, but you didn't highlight the entirety of the black carapace. Yeah, the micro scratches on this one look pretty good. I think you accomplished it pretty well with the beat to hell look. I just realized I didn't open all the photos, but that's fine because there's only 3 of those. Hello, Ernie. How you doing? Yeah, this is a good looking miniature. You did a good job with it. Yes, welcome to the stream. Although I just realized, you might want to fix that right there. You might want to fix that somehow. The little push fit peg being blue. Try and put a little basing material around that to fix that. Or something. Yes, as you know, the Galaxy A55 5G reveals all. Okay. Dark Angels Hero Mini. Okay. How long do you have to spend on a mini for it to look like that? I don't know, Ernie. How long do you spend on this? Because again, some people can paint a lot faster than others. Case in point, Ernie, because he paints really fast compared to me. Because I think in this fan that I've worked on, this Gawk Rocker, he's painted multiple miniatures. 2 weeks daily, 3 to 4 hours. You know you can remove the watermark in settings to remove it. I think they just forgot this time because all their other photos, it's not in there. But yeah, some people paint a lot faster than others. I prefer to just go at my own pace. And then the Cataphracti. Is this the new Cataphracti Terminator? Pretty sure it's the new one because I'm like, well, the arms look so weird if this is the new ones. Is that just the way the shoulder pads were glued on, or... Or is that just the way GW has them? Because this looks so goofy. Due to magnets and super glue residue. Ah, okay. Wait, did you magnetize the shoulder pads? Or just the arms? Tried to fix that. You try to do what I did? Because I don't recommend that anymore. Only the arms? Weird, the arms shouldn't be like that then. If it's just magnetizing the arms, it's weird. I mean, if it's super glue residue that's pushing it out, you can just sand it down and it should fix it. Yeah, but whatever. Let's look at the miniature. Okay, let's see. Good weathering on the feet. Good edge highlighting. I don't know exactly what went wrong. Yeah. Very nice freehanding too. I cannot do that very well for the text. My handwriting is doo-doo. Nice gold too, by the way. What gold did you use for this again? What gold is this? I would like to know what gold. Excuse me. Ammo atom metallic gold. Okay, I'm gonna write that down for later. Write that down, write that down. Write that down, write that down. Gotta scroll back up now because I lost my spot. Okay, so it's called ammo atom. I'm just gonna write it in my Word doc. No, Microsoft Word, you don't get my feedback. Got it. Gold. I think the green might be contrast paint. Love Lauren painting. Ah, a little bit more nitpick. You got some gold overspill in some areas. On this armor panel right here, that shoulder pad, and the green right there, and a little bit on the leather. But other than that, very nicely painted miniatures. As always, good job.
I like what you got. Good job.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, next up we have... Okay, they didn't put critique or feedback, so they got skipped. Next up we have is Big Turb Fort. Ammo, iconic. Oh, okay. Neat. Change my Tyranids color scheme. Need some critique on the colors. Ammo, here's my Dale, the crab effects, and Exocrine Proxy. An Exocrine Proxy Crucible Champion. Did they use an actual crab shell for this? Or was this 3D printed? I think they used an actual crab shell, and I hope they cleaned it appropriately. I'm pretty sure... I don't know. It's a cool miniature, though. No, it's just returning to crab. Something's fishy here. Yes, indeed. You can say crabby, Bobo. Something's very crabby here. But I mean, I like the paint scheme, though. Very nicely done. I don't use food paints. Okay. Is that a defiler? No, it's a crab effects. Its name is Dale, the crab effects. Is what it is. Even better. Crustacean effects. Distraction crab effects. Yeah, I think... Wait, no. I think... Okay, I'm not sure if this is a model kit either, because I'm pretty sure, knowing Japan, there's also crab ones. This Tyranid can only move to the side. Because I see what looks like a seam line right there, if you guys can see it on the back. Because I know Japan makes weird model kits. So maybe it's from a crab model kit from Japan? I don't know. Like, this is so confusing. It's cool nonetheless. I'm just not sure if this is an actual crab shell they used. But I mean, I like the colors if you want, because I'm not sure if you want to be a bit neater on with it. If you want, because some areas aren't as neat, although honestly, it's fine. I think it's really, it might be, yeah. I think the colors for the carapace is fine. It's just, I think you went a little bit too heavy on the wash for the Tyranid bits themselves. Because like I could see coffee staining in some areas, and like it just isn't consistent across the entire miniature is the thing. Wonder what Tyranid would taste like? Well, you'd only be able to find out once, because you can't eat Tyranid meat, because even their meat is made of small Tyranids, and they'll just eat you from the inside out. From the dishwasher? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. Steam it. Once you eat the crab, you clean it out of all the meat, steam it, hit it with isopropyl alcohol. I have no clue. Yeah, I think your color scheme for the carapace is fine. It's just you went a little bit too heavy on the washes for the other bits on it. It's a nice base too, although I feel like it's going to be very heavy if those are actual rocks. Well, it might not be, but I think they are. I don't know. But whatever, it's a very nicely painted miniature.
I like what you got. Good job.
Nicely done. Okay, those are getting skipped. I gotta disable so I can see. This is playing by the life form Yi. Okay, next we got JTXV. It's my Sons of Horus champion mini with Custody, Sphere, and Shield. I would like some feedback. Okay, let's see. First things first, you don't need to take photos outside. Next thing too, you kinda paint is a bit too thick, I think, because I see some details getting washed out. You need to be a little bit neater with the color too, because you have it going on the Custody shoulder pads. You need to wash it, I think, too, because I'm not sure. I know you have some wash on the green, but I can't tell if you have any wash on the Custodes parts. You should probably fix that. You need to be a little bit neater, too. And I know you're being thematic by doing photos out in the real world, but honestly, don't do that. I wouldn't do that. Because where's the base for this, too? It needs a base. The land forbidden to gamers, yes. The outside world. Also, too, you've got you've got casting gates on some of these too that I can see now that I look at it. I can see it on the sphere, definitely see it on the shield. I see it on the shoulder pad right here, if that's what that is right there. The base is the earth. Yeah, this needs cleanup, brush control, wash, and thin down paint. Well, it looks okay if this is one of your first miniatures if you just started. It's looking good. It's a good start. Well, thank you for sharing.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, I'm skipping William Botan because the miniature isn't done. The miniature has to be done for this. First, show us what you got. Okay, didn't I see this somewhere already? Sorry for some reason being dark. Feedback, especially on the highlight, please. Okay, so just feedback on the highlights. Okay, I just used some photos from this, so for the highlights, let's see. What highlights? I can't really see any highlights on the black armor, that's for sure. I can kind of see it on the cloak. Like, it's kind of there. Not really, because the problem is, if you hit this with a varnish, it's going to get a lot darker. And I only picked a few photos, so that way you can see what I mean. So because it's darker, you can't really register the highlights is the thing. First 4 images or before highlights. Oh. Okay. First 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me open newer images. Wait, isn't that just the same image I opened before? Okay, I lost my spot, whatever. Look at this and then gotta go back. Back to the past, Samurai Jack. Okay, yeah, so for this, I cannot really see any highlights on this unless... Trying to see the difference between some of your photos. Those are the same photos, that one. Those used last time. So, let's see. Highlights. I don't think that was the right color for the cloak. That doesn't look like it was the right color. Because what is this? A brown, and you're using like a color that looks like it's an off purple kind of. So maybe not that color for the cloak and the leather. Your gray highlight can barely tell is even there. Did dry brush with the gray sear over white fur to the wash and fetching gray over the armor for the cloak, mix tight base with a little bit of white to make it lighter. Okay, so adding white to colors doesn't always work. It's like if you want a brighter green, you don't mix white into it, you mix yellow into it. Certain colors are better when you mix different, like, certain colors into it. Is what you have to do. Gray sear over white fur and wash. Fenrisian gray over the armor. So, I can't even tell this is you use Fenrisian gray for a dry brush is the thing. Because I use Fenrisian gray normally, and that does not look like Fenrisian gray. Fenrisian gray is like a bright blue. Yeah, white changes the saturation. But I mean, I can see the color on the what looks like the pinkish leather for the front that has the runes. You also need to be, if you want to do highlights like this, because your line, it's just the color. I don't think the color was it's just the color isn't that great. It's not an appropriate color for that. Yeah, I cannot tell that this was done with Fenrisian gray for the armor. It just looks like, I don't know, Mechanicus standard gray as your dry brush. Because if it, like I said, if it was Fenrisian gray, I would be able to see hints of very bright blue. And another thing too, you might want to paint the exhaust ports for the backpack silver. But I mean, the fur is fine. Yeah, the fur is just fine. The fur was okay. You could have maybe gone a little bit lighter on the wash. Because I can see certain areas where it's a bit like, I don't want to say it's too dark. It's more like it's too thick. Like it's just too much. And you can tell by the way it looks. Inside is so is overall to deal inside so okay. So is this mini not finished? Because if it's not finished, I prefer you submit it when it's 100% finished. Which is how I prefer it for a lot of the miniatures here. It is meant to be finished, okay. But nonetheless, it's a good model. Thank you for sharing.
I like what you got. Good job.
And close those off and go find the spot where I left off. Okay, it should be pretty easy to find. Okay, yeah. Okay, next up we have Cheez It. Feedback on my Lord of Boxes. I have a question. What kind of glue should I use for basing models? Okay, so basing models, if you don't want to use GW texture paste, use Elmer's white glue. For all my miniatures, I did like Nightmares before. Only did the inside of the exhaust. Oh, okay. Yes, Elmer's white glue works just fine now. It is a lot better as opposed to when I was a kid where it was a terrible glue. Elmer's white glue is a lot better now. It has a much stronger hold. Okay, let's critique this miniature. Let's see. First things first, make sure you get rid of all the mold lines, because I do not like the way that looks. Yeah, we've decided we're fine if the mini is finished. Like, if the mini is finished and you don't have it based, I would prefer you not share it when it has the base, because that's just wasting time and taking time away from other people. Music stopped. Let's look at this miniature. Okay. Okay, first things first. For the guts right here, I would maybe highlight that another red, because it's kind of blending into his cape. Yeah, don't share it again. If the miniature itself is done, but it's not based, don't share it again once it is based. Unless you did something crazy with the base. So for this one, it looks good nonetheless. The main thing I think is that I can see just from looking at the images is you also do have some areas that might need to be highlighted, like the sword needs some highlights. You have some of the green going over on the cape and is a bit splotchy in some areas. So I'm pretty sure you're using contrast. So what I would do is maybe thin down your contrast paint and like layer it on until you get the effect that you want. Mini large bulk to make it easy. Yeah, that's what I do too. I do bulk basing. Unless it's a one-off miniature. If it's army stuff, I do bulk basing. Highlights are needed somewhere. Your blood colors look a bit too neat, I want to say. Yeah, I think this is mainly just... Oh, sorry. Do some highlights. Or brighter highlights. Because the guts right here are blending into the cape. And also just mold line removal. But nonetheless, it is a very nicely painted miniature. Good job.
I like what you got. Good job.
Thank you for sharing. Demi Trues. This is my second mini ever. Criticize it. Okay. It needs a lot of work. So, and also your camera work is bad too. You need to fix that. Because out of focus for some of them. Mini looks great. I don't know. Because there's some inconsistencies with the highlighting too. Like the highlight up here, he's done the highlighting up here, but not down here on the back of the legs, or I think on the... Yeah, highlighting is a bit all over the place. And also you need to get a better paintbrush too if you want to do highlights. Because they're not as consistent as they should be. Oh, the Death Guard one, okay. Yeah, the Death Guard one was good. It's just It just needs work on the highlights. That's it. Is the main issue. This one, you have a good grasp on the weathering for the silver chipping, it looks like. I think you might have overdone it in some areas, though. Then, again, your highlights are a bit too thick. Because I think you're trying to do volumetric, but it isn't really working. Because if you do volumetric, you want it to be like a gradual transition to the color you want it to be, not a very in-your-face transition like you have it. Is it freehand? Yes, this is freehanded, I can tell. So their freehand, I'm gonna give a pass because this is their second miniature. Because freehanding is hard. But yeah, the purple highlights are not that great. That needs work. Like, not sure if that's just the lighting or no, it's not the lighting. Yeah, it was the lighting. So yeah, I think all it is just brush work is needed. You need better brushes for highlighting, and also freehanding too. If you have a nice Kolinsky sable brush, or just sable brush in general, freehanding is a lot easier because you're able to maintain a very like fine tip for your paintbrush. But I feel like you have a good grasp on your weathering. It's just you might have gone a bit overboard in some areas with it. And also you forgot to paint the leather areas too. Yeah, it's a good miniature for your second miniature. Just, I feel like thin your paints, get a better paintbrush, and if you want to do volumetric highlights like it looks like what you're doing, you want to use multiple colors to get there. So another way to do it is take your base coat, add a little bit of it into your final volumetric highlight color. So do like a 75% black, 25% purple, then move to 50-50 black and purple. Then do 75% purple, 25% black, and then you go to your very final color. And if you want to do it that way, you also have to make sure that you are thinning your paints down appropriately too. Not bad for all the freehand on a second main. Probably needs a better brush and palette. Yes. Definitely needs a better brush. And also just learning how to do highlights and stuff too is what needs to be done. But nonetheless, good second miniature.
I like what you got. Good job.
Thank you for sharing. And I see we have some people on the server that are new. Make sure your name is green. If your name is not green, you can't participate and show us what you got because you can't really post photos. And also, when you read the rules, make sure you're over 18 too, because this is an 18+ server. Okay, let's see who is next. Next is, I gotta scroll back up. Odysseus, feedback. Okay. Let's see. Like I said before, you don't need to have your hand in the photo. Just leave the miniature on your desk, please, and take a photo with it. Slap chop. Meh. Slap chop is only good if you're speed painting. And even then it can look bad if it's not done properly. Yes, looking at this miniature, let's see. I think you need to highlight the brain. Because it's dark. You have a dark blue color with a dark purple. So from afar, it's going to blend in a bit. So maybe do a little bit of a brighter highlight on that. Your skin tone, I feel like, is fine for the Tyranid. That looks fine. Fix that right there on the talons. You got a little bit of your texture paint on it in weird spots. Fix up right here too, because you see purple overspill. Your purple carapace armor looks good. Yeah, purple carapace armor looks pretty good. Why is there random blood right here? Weird. Chop isn't too bad. I use her minis and then the chaos. Yeah, slop chop is fine. It's just people make it sound like it's the best thing ever, and the other issue with slap chop 2 is you don't really learn anything if that's all you do. Like, you don't learn proper brush control, don't learn how to highlight, you won't learn how to do color transitions, because all you're doing is you're just slap chop is just the poor man's Zenithal highlight, honestly. Because that's all it is, really. It's just a Zenithal highlight, but you're using a brush to do it. Ugh. And also, it was just a fad that all the content creators did. Just want to play with the minis, yeah. Yeah, slap chop is just better for army painting speed. Just doing a model showcase. Yeah, I do it every other Monday. Every other Monday is show us what you got.
Show us what you got!
Which is basically mini critique and feedback for the community. Because everyone wants to improve on their painting skills, so why not have some random guy on YouTube do it for you to tell you how to be a better painter? Thought slap chop with that Zen highlight and bunch of things. Yeah, slap chop is, like I said, the poor man's Zenithal highlight. It's better for speed painting, just like how Zenithal is better for speed painting too. Slap chop is just Zenithal highlighting with speed paint. Because you can also do Zenithal highlighting with speed paint too. And contrast paints. There's a reason they're called speed paints for Army Painter. But yes, nonetheless, very, very nice Tyranid. Good job.
I like what you got. Good job!
Okay, next up we have... Okay, skipping Thanos because they didn't put critique or feedback. Skipping Dust Sands because they didn't put anything. For some reason, there's a gotcha character or something in there. As an anime character, I don't know. Skipping a Warmonger because they didn't say if they wanted critique or feedback. Redacted Gamer. Tried using a mix of striking swerving ingredients and acrylic pouring paint and water for the dark bits. Serving as far as feedback would be appreciated. Okie dokie, so not gonna lie, these are rough. These are kinda rough. So what, the green acrylic pouring paint and water? I'm confused. That mean they tried to use like Vallejo still water in the green or something? I don't know. I'm confused on this. Yeah, this is kind of messy. Yeah, a little bit messy with the green. Need better control for that because it is spilling onto other parts of the miniature. So probably what you need is better paintbrush. Although, if you mixed something that is not like a normal acrylic paint, but it is an acrylic with this, like some Vallejo still water thing, make sure you clean your brush if you do have a nice paintbrush. But yeah, these are kind of rough. Yeah, the color choices are fine. It's just, it's a bit rough. Because I also see areas where... Why is there... Did they not prime these? Because I still see bare gray plastic, it looks like. Why does it look like these weren't primed and then just painted over them? Yeah, I don't think these are primed. Yeah, these aren't primed. That's the main mistake. These are not painted gray. This is just gray plastic. I am 99% sure this is just gray plastic. Yeah, rookie mistake. And also, paints are on kind of thick. So, properly prime your miniatures is one thing. And unpriming. Yes, that's probably why it's kind of all over the place, too. As to why the paint is so thick. Because paint isn't going to go so well on a very smooth surface. So, yeah, properly prime your miniatures, thin your paints, and get better brushes. And unfortunately, because these are not primed appropriately, I have to do this.
Boo! Not cool!
Okay, thank you for sharing. Next up, we have that one dumb panda. Jesus Christ, they paint fast. The new Eradicator is already done, and also the Land Speeder. My god. Stop making us look bad. Let's look at these. Okay, feedback and critique on some Eradicators and Speeder. Okay, first off, you need to fix the lens right there. You got some overspill from the lenses onto the your nice blue armor. Some areas can use some highlights too. On some of the edges, you got some overspill from the gold right here and also a bit of the purity seals. Little bit of white, don't know how that got there on that bolt pistol. Your gold isn't completely opaque. Yeah, some areas need highlights is what it needs. Make them thick to get color right. No. Yeah, I think what it is, it's just some areas need highlights and it's going to be cleanup is the thing with the Eradicators. Because they look pretty good. Already have like Golden Demon level fully painted Armageddon set. Yeah. Yeah. Some people just paint really fast is the thing. While other people's enjoy the process. Yeah. Well, the thing is too, I found out that someone in the Discord server actually got their Armageddon box 2 weeks early because their game store just is like, oh hey, we just got these. Here you go. I don't know what else. Yeah, same. I like taking my time painting my models. They have to look pretty. But yeah, I think for the Eradicators, it's just cleanup is the thing. Just need some cleanup in some areas, and these will be perfect. And ready for the game table. Next up, we have the Land Speeder. Yeah, like also highlights on the leather too. Have the Land Speeder. Looking pretty good. I don't think... Yeah, this one has highlights. The Eradicators don't really. So that needs to be fixed. That is a very bad decal if that's a GW decal. My god. I hope that isn't a GW decal. Because I can literally see the pixels on the decal. I think those are GW decals. Jesus Christ. No, this is not 3D printed. This is the... What? The... No, this is like the actual GW model. This is not 3D printed. None of those are 3D printed. This is the actual models from the new box. Huh. I also see some areas where there are some casting gates that need to be taken off. Yeah, the decals are yuck. I'm wondering, like I said, if those are GW decals, my god, what happened to the quality? I think those might actually be GW decals too. I can see the pixels along the edges. Those are real bad. Nonetheless, it is a very nice. Oh, they even painted the inside too. They painted the displays. Those are from the vehicle decal sheet. My god. Yeah, because look at these decals. These look just fine. And then when you get to the vehicle decal sheet, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know it's GW's fault. GW is skimping out on the quality of their stuff for decals lately. Probably what they did was they had a very, very small image that was like 1080p instead of a 4K image or even larger. And then shrinking it down. Or enlarging it is what they did. Like they had an image that was 480p and they enlarged it. And then you could see like all the pixels. Just bigger so the pixels. Yeah, exactly that. They took the smaller ones and just enlarged them instead of making new ones. Lazy bastards. Yeah, nonetheless, for painting these so damn fast, pretty good for the new Armageddon minis.
I like what you got. Good job.
And then they also submitted a Rowboat Gorilla Man to look at. Looking pretty good, although more just nitpicking. Oh, hi, Robert. More nitpicking is that you need to clean up the trim as best as you can because you have some blue spilling onto it. And then I can see you tried to do a little bit of a volumetric highlight, or you stippled it on to get some blue on there. Yes, lots of trim. Lots and lots of trim. Really like this, Robert. Yes. So yeah, I think this is, again, just cleanup. This is another one where you got to do a bit of cleanup. Because I see some paint that chipped off here from holding it, it looks like. Yeah, that's paint chipping off from holding it with your bare hands. That's what happens when you hold the miniature with your bare hands, is paint will start chipping off. When you paint them, you can feel sorry for all the Thousand Suns painters, yeah. Who am I kidding? We don't feel sorry for Thousand Suns players. They picked that grave themselves. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Maybe I would maybe go a bit brighter on the sword. Maybe go a bit brighter on the sword. Yeah, I'm probably gonna skip Jack Bob even though I opened it because I saw feedback and critique, but they said they're not done with it. So, you know. But yes, this is a very nice Rowboat Gorilla Man. Very nicely done. Most of it's just cleanup. Just clean it up and it'll look good. Yeah, so Jack Bob, if you're here, finish the miniature and then we'll look at it again. But yes, Panda, there's a very
I
nice
like
gorilla
what you
man.
got. Good job.
Okay, next up we have Whelmed. Feedback and tips to improve would much appreciate. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see. Highlights. They're not. Highlights are for the most part consistent. It's just they're not opaque in some areas that I can see. So maybe fix that. So like for right here, you want to make sure the line is opaque. And also I do see paint chipping right here, so fix that on the shield. Fix the shield, the paint chipping, and also a little bit on the purity seal too right here. You have your base coat shining through, and also on the front of his cowl. Yeah, the Watchers in the Dark, those are looking pretty good. Although what I would do maybe is go one step brighter for the highlight, because your secondary highlight is secondary highlight is blending into your primary highlight. This is what I would do, and then probably for the headpiece, what you probably should have done, because notice how you have these feathers bright right here at the top and you have it darker towards the bottom, and then you reverse that for the top feathers. It should have been the consistent across, where you have it brighter towards the top, darker towards the bottom. What you should have done for that, although stylistic, so your choice. Sword paint is a bit thick, and it looks... No, Watchers in the Dark are like... Okay, so Watchers in the Dark are warp entities, but they're not warp entities. It's weird. They're from their own dimension. They're not from the warp. It's weird. Like, demons are afraid of Watchers in the Dark. What is it? The Changeling or whatever? Whatever it's called. They infiltrated the rock and they came across a Watcher in the Dark and then noped the fuck out of the rock. 40k Ewoks? No. 40k Ewoks, but much scarier. Like the last time a Dark Angel harassed a Watcher in the Dark, that person disappeared. And from then on out, it was a rule to never mess with the Watchers. That's never really been explained why they like the Dark Angels. Never really been explained, because like the other things people say is like, oh, they're like fairies or fae, because like the whole Caliban thing, how Dark Angels are Knights of the Round Table inspired. So you have like me when I see the little guys, Utini, yeah, they're Jawas. So like Watchers in the Dark, they're kind of like fae or fairies of Caliban. It's weird. The Watchers in the Dark are just still like mysterious and not much is known about them. Although in Lion Son of the Forest, we did get a little bit more lore on them. Which is like how they are like... Basically, do they have a face? No. But basically, yeah, they're like fairies or fae. Or just like they're guides. They watch over the Dark Angels and help them. Oh, okay. Okay, so yes, back to the miniature. So, yeah. Yeah. I think it is just brushwork is the main thing. A little bit better brushwork. Fix up the highlights. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Fix up the highlights and it'll be all good. And also touch-ups, because I can see some more areas where paint was coming off. This is my line. I tried to use sponge through the sword. Guess I did go a bit too hard on the sponge. Yeah, you did. So usually what you want to do, because I think you're trying to do like how other people do it, their swords and stuff. What you want to do is you don't want because you have it focused to one spot. Where the lore about them being from another dimension, the only thing I knew about the Watchers, they were found on calendar hunts prior to the world's ending. So we get that. So we get it from Lion, Son of the Forest, that they're from a different dimension, because where the lion was transported to is like some other dimension. Because think about it, if they were from the warp, demons would basically the warp would be screwed, because like demons are deathly afraid of them, which is really hard to do. Scare a demon in 40k. But yeah, like they're from their. It's implied they're from their own separate dimension, because that's where the lion was for like a while, because he was in the Watcher's dimension before he got spit back out into the current timeline. Because that's where the Watchers were keeping him. And also, this is spoilers for the end of the book, but I think I can't remember if it was the changeling that was also in the forest, and that's where the lion found the Emperor's shield. I think it was the changeling, because the demon that was there to get the shield, they were taking the form of all the other Primarchs. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like the Watchers, the dimension of the Watchers is like outside of the warp. It's implied to be. But that's just the agreed upon theory for like everyone that's into Dark Angels, and like for the Watchers, is that they're these little guys that are equivalent to like the fairies or fae from Arthurian legend, and they're like from their own dimension, and yeah, they have their own dimension that they're freely able to go in and out of. Because think about it too, because the lion's ability Forest Walk, that is him going through the Watcher's dimension, or something like the warp, but not quite the warp. Because if it was the warp, then demons would be corrupting any Dark Angels that would go through Forest Walk with him. Because the thing is, too, the way Forest Walk works is, I can't remember if I don't know if they changed the lore about it or they updated the lore on it, but the way it works, like that we saw from the book, is that what Forest Walk did was it took the lion where he needed to go, which is what the Watchers were influencing, that he needed to go to this place, and so on, to like find different Dark Angels to bring them back to the Legion, that sort of thing. But yes, back to miniature. Side tangent to side. Miniature is good. Fix up the highlights. Maybe add a brighter highlight to the Watchers, because your initial highlights blending in. Touch up the areas where some paint came off. But other than that, it's a good miniature. You did good.
I like what you got. Good job.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, next up we have from Winter Huntsman, Halo Flashlight miniature. Feedback appreciated. Okay. Let's work this Lord Don't Low Forest Walking, such a cool ability. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, it's a cool ability, and I'm sad that GW didn't make it like. I'm pissed GW didn't make it like changed how it was in the 9th edition. Because 9th edition, you were able to bring like a squad of miniatures with you through Forest Walk. That was awesome. 10th edition, you can't do that. And 11th edition, sorry. 10th and 11th edition, they changed it. I did not like that. I wanted it to be where you can still bring a squad of miniatures with you through Forest Walk. That would have been cool. But yes, okay, back to Flashpoint miniature. Okay, so first things first, it is really bright. Your lighting is very bright, and it's kind of blowing out the bright blue. So next time, try and change or hold the miniature further from the light. Let's look at this. So they want it feedback. Okay. I can't remember if her armor is two-toned like that, or they're just weathering it like that. trying to remember, but I mean, this miniature looks good regardless. 'Cause I'm pretty sure these are also smaller than 40k miniatures too. Ah, Chrissy, thank you for the YouTube subscribe. Yeah, this miniature looks good regardless. There's not much I can critique about it. Because they did a good job on it. Like, there's not really much nitpicking that I can see. Aside from maybe fixing up this red bit back here because it is spilling a bit over and a bit of the blue. And I'm pretty sure this armor gradient is stylistic, so that's fine. Can't remember. Is the visor supposed to be silver or was there a tint to it? I don't remember. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a very nicely painted miniature. Oh wow, they even did little hazard stripes too on the boots. That's pretty good. Very good. Yeah, there's not much to critique about this. They did a good job with this. And another thing too I need to remind people is that there's not much to critique or do feedback on. That's not a bad thing. That's honestly a good thing. That means you did very well at the painting. And you were thorough with what you did. Yes, thank you for sharing. Good job.
I like what you got. Good job.
Next up, we have Frenchie. I don't know if I sent this one this week. No, you did. Looking for advice and critique, probably. Also, if I should use varnish since I play with these. Sorry for bad pictures. Yes. If you're gonna play with these, I would always varnish them because the spots that you pick them up from the most, paint will start to rub off. And varnish helps to protect them. Is what I would do. Well, no, you should do it. Because your miniatures are very nicely painted, you don't want the paint to rub off. Okay, let's see. So flames look pretty good. Moving the background are ominous. Yep. Your flames look pretty good. The red armor is pretty good. Maybe paint in the little eye of chaos or whatever on the knee pad if you want to, and also his lenses too. Is this even finished? I just realized the Master of Possession even finished because even the lenses on his helmet aren't painted too. Careful spray varnish and what your weather is. Yeah, that's why I don't use spray varnish. I use brush on varnish. Is what I do. That's what I do is I use brush on varnish. It's better to use brush on, honestly. Right, let's see. Yeah, let's see these. Yeah, these. If these, what brand of varnish use? I use Vallejo. I use Vallejo varnishes. So are these painted all the way? You just haven't based them yet, or because if these aren't 100% finished, I'm just gonna move along. Just not based. Okay. So yeah, you missed the lenses on the Master of Possession. You do have some areas where you're spilling over. It needs some highlights in some areas because I can see where you did have a little bit of highlights, so it's kind of hard to see. Because another thing too, when you varnish stuff, it's gonna darken your mini down a little bit. So if you have highlights that are a similar color to your base coat, like almost the same shade as your base coat, those are gonna darken down and it's gonna blend in. I learned that the hard way when I painted my first miniatures. So you want to keep that in mind. These guys look just fine. Again, make sure if you're going to varnish these that your highlights are brighter than they should be. That's just how it should be for all painting, honestly. Is make sure your highlights are a bit brighter. Because then it'll stand out more too. And this guy is basically that guy right there. Can't tell if you painted the lenses on that guy. Looking for battle ready, okay. Yeah, so battle ready, if I remember correctly, is base coat, wash, highlight. I think is what it is. Yeah, the bad picture. So you need some highlights that can actually be seen. But that's just my opinion. Yes, nonetheless, thank you for sharing.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, I have one more image up here, and then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break to stretch and get a snack. So we have right here from the barbacoa. It's not that, but okay, I'm hungry. Don't blame me, I'm hungry. Hello, Rob. It is the barbacoa. Okay, I'm not fat, even though I weigh 150 pounds. And I'm not fat. Okay, so looking for advice and feedback. Favorite mini so far, but want to keep improving. Okay, so let's see. Look at this miniature. Very nicely done base. I was hungry making the name. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay, so yes, very nicely done base. I like it. Maybe could use a little bit of highlights on the armor and the on the metallics too, and music pause itself. And then your lenses, you can probably make those a bit brighter. Yeah, probably I think this would be just if you want to do a little bit of highlights. Based more on the armor low-key. Well, that's mean. But I do kind of get what you mean because the base draws the eye. The base is drawing the eyes in more than the miniature itself. So maybe if you did a little, because I can tell you stylized this to be beat to hell and weathered. So maybe a very, very thin highlight would do it justice. Words. Dope with white decals. Yeah, some decals will help. Decals can help definitely. It's just don't overdo the decals. But I think honestly what this might need is just subtle highlights. Is probably what it needs. I think subtle highlights would help it more because then your attention isn't immediately drawn to the base. Because the base is a much brighter color than the armor itself. Jason spent way more time on them than the actual armors. Yeah. Because remember, you're trying to make the focus the miniature, not the base. Although if you have if you're doing large knights, there's no problem with doing it. You just want to make them have equal attention. Trims are really dark, yeah. Trim is really dark. Nonetheless, it is very nicely painted. Just maybe brighten up the lenses, give it some very subtle highlights, and it'll look really good. But thank you for sharing. Good job.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, we are going to do a quick 5-minute break because I have been sitting for an hour and a half, and everyone should also stand up themselves to stretch their legs and get a snack. Where is no BRB break time? Be back in 5 minutes. Okay. I need to put something in the freezer too that's forge rolled because I want to repose it. Just remember I gotta do that. So I gotta do that too. Be right back. Okay, dokie, I have returned. Thanks. Hello, Matt. How you doing? Ah, yeah, let me close this 50 plus pictures down so that way I can get to where I need to be. So that way I don't lose my spot. Because opening hundreds of photos is a very stupid idea. My God, how many did I open? Jesus Christ, it's still going. Okay, let's see. Get rid of break time. Open some more photos. Call from my boss lasts exactly as long as the break time. Neat. Okay. Ooh, this is gonna be an interesting one for the next one. The very first next one's gonna be pretty interesting. Like, oh. I thought we had more, but there's only like 3 more submissions or so. Okay, so I need to reorder these two because I gotta look at fires first. Because I got ahead of myself. Okay, fire stuff isn't really completed, but he has been with the server for a shitload of time, so I'm just gonna look at it. It's members many years. So let's see. Feedback, advice, critique, the full TLC. Okay, so I see you're trying to do a shield effect on this. So far it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna submit another. Yes, you can submit another. So glazing would probably be. I mean, explaining it is one thing, but showing it in practice is another. Because I still have to do some glazing on my orc on Wednesday. So maybe... Although the thing is, too, I don't know what time I'm going to be streaming on Wednesday. So we'll see. But I will explain it the best I can if you submit another one. Yes, okay, so the shield glow effect is looking pretty good. I think what you need to do is you need to go add a little bit of brighter color too to it. And also, what the heck is that? That piece of tape or something? What is that? What is this right here? There's something right there that looks weird. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I think it's because Fire started using an airbrush. I don't remember. It was looking pretty good. I think you just need to have a little bit brighter towards the center, if that's what you want to do for a little glow. And then we got a old world guy, Chaos Sorcerer. Okay, so for this one, you need to put some wash on the horns. You need to put wash on the horns. You need to clean it up a bit in some areas. Called glazing sorcerer. We don't understand how to do it. You mean, I didn't understand it at first too, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's just depending on how in depth you want to go for glazing. It can take a long time. Emphasis on a long time. Also, excuse me, I'm looking at something real quick on eBay because this is time to look at eBay real quick because I haven't looked at it today. Okay, nothing. Okay, yeah, this guy needs some wash on the horns, and also I feel like on the cloak, the fur too. Clean up in some areas, of course, because these are a bit too... the paint is spilling over. And then you need to work on brush control for his cape, because you're going from... the color shift is kind of harsh, because you're going from a very dark purple to a bright purple. So either do a 50-50 mix of the two colors and then highlight it, and then use the really bright one, or just do 50-50. And also brush control too. Because brush control is sadly needed. Okay, who the fuck pinged me? Who pinged me? Who the fuck pinged me? It's fire. I don't get why he just didn't say something in the Twitch chat. And then for this, that's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It's really nice and bright. I like it. Only issue I think is just the rear part right here. Because this color, I don't really... It looks weird because it's, I think what it is it's a blue mixing on, it's a blue going on to a red, so it's turning purple. That's what I think it is. But other than that, good job. Thank you for sharing.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, this is going to be something interesting. Why is that still there? Next up, we have Smokestack. Feedback and advice on my new night. These are some of my first models I've ever painted. Yes, okay. Stop making us look bad then. Very good for first models then. I'm sorry, I can't. The face. Yes, the pilot has seen some things. Fun stream. I am off to play some American Truck Simulator, then off to bed. Have a nice evening. Yep, later, Ernie. Thank you for sharing and also hanging out in the stream. See you next time. The pilot has indeed seen some things. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So... that was your first face? Yes. I mean, it's not bad. Not perfect, not bad. A lot better than other people, that's for sure. Let's see. So... first things first, I think this is just an issue with white paint in general. White paint is... white paint no good. Me no like the white paint. But you have a good grasp of thinning your paint though. It's just white paint is god awful to paint. I can't tell if there's any washes on the gold. I think it needs some wash. A little bit of cleanup in some areas for the gold trim, and also the panels too, because you have some of the base color spilling onto it. Go away, real estate ad. Hello, Jack Bob. How you doing? I had to skip your miniature because it's not 100%. It's not finished. Show us what you got. We prefer the minis to be finished. Or they can be finished and not based, because the miniature is usually the focus. But if you... so, like, don't submit them twice kind of thing. Yeah, I think the white paint is the biggest issue with that. Could use some washes too, or panel lining. Let's look at all these guys. But nonetheless, they look pretty good for being some of your first miniatures. Look very good for being some of your first miniatures. All you need to do now is just base them. And maybe find a different white paint too. But yeah, so some panels, yeah, can do some panel lining too on the white to get the separation. Yes, props for Knights of Venus first mini, indeed. This miniature 2000 point army, nice. So some panel lining could do some wonders on this. Just clean up, do some washes on the metallics too. And these will look very, very nice. Color is what it looks like when it was based too. You used the silver to do it. Just to save time. Good job. Yes, very good for actually your first start, for some of your first miniatures. Very, very good. A lot better than a lot of people. Props to being for being knights. Good job.
I like what you got. Good job.
Okay, next up we have Robzilla. Okay, that's funny. Critique and feedback, please. She's for a future project. Oh my god. It's funny. Yes, it is beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so need some highlights in some areas, and also the highlight color you used I think is wrong, because you did a light brown color on a gray. So probably fix that. Go away, I don't need insurance. I already have insurance. Go away. Looks good. Yeah, so don't use a brown color, light brown color. When it came on screen. Yeah, don't use a brown color on a gray for a highlight. Probably some wash on the parts. The brown part of it, not the dark brown part, the light brown part of his boots to see the definition. What else? You also got some of that brown highlight on the gloves too. So probably fix that. Lenses are fine. The head is fine. The colors are fine. It's just if the highlights need work. You need to fix the highlights. Fix the highlights. Do some washes. And it'll look good. And remember, very, very light wash. Okay, and thank you for sharing. Very funny miniature. I can't wait to see what diorama it's going to be a part of.
I like what you got. Good job.
I see how you need to go to the store. Okay. And finally, we have another one from Barbecue. Quick submission advice on the glazing. Want to make blue transition smoother. Try following the mini Zelda team. Okay, so that is not glazing. First things first. So the way glazing works is what you have to do is you need to either thin it down. Well, actually, if you're doing glazing, I don't recommend using water to thin it down. If you're going to glaze something, what you want to do is you want to use Lamian medium, because Lamian, or any paint medium for that matter. Because what you're doing is you're making the paint have less pigment in it, but enough pigmentation in it to be a glaze color. So you kind of want to make it like wash consistency, but not as strong as a wash. So like you want to, like if you put it over a color, like, or if you're using a glove, you want it to be like very, very like opaque and like see-through. Am I watching Rick and Morty? Yes. See, like, my advice to glaze. I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, well, glazing helps. Yes, glazing will help smooth it out. And when you're glazing too, you have to do multiple mixtures. Yeah, multiple mixtures of your initial color up to your final color. So it's like earlier when I said you have to do a 75-25 mix, and then a 50-50 mix, and then a 25, then another 25-75 of your final color. So you also, like Golden Demon painters, they do it in like multiple ratios of paint too, just to get the glaze like perfect. But I found that like for painting of like doing it for miniatures and not for competition, going from base coat 75, highlight 25, And then also just like even doing a 50-50 mixture if you're doing like multiple highlights, like 2 highlight colors, like your initial highlight and then your final highlight, just doing 50-50 base coat, 50-50 secondary highlight, primary highlight, and then 50-50 primary highlight to secondary highlight works just fine for glazing once you finish off with your secondary highlight. It's just you gotta make sure that your paint is thinned down appropriately once you've done the mixture to smooth it out. Because then it'll look a lot better. Like you can even do like volumetric highlights, where it's you do the same thing, but you thin it down with water and use it like normal acrylic paint. It's kind of like how it looks on my orc and also on a lot of my Custodes miniatures for when I do like the red or the purple. You painted Sam and post them for next stream, I guess. Okay, that's fine. That works too. Okay. But yes, that is all the miniatures for this installment of Show Us What You Got. Let me do a separation for those so that we'll have more in 2 weeks. But thank you for sharing, everyone. It was nice to see a lot of miniatures that people posted. Different ratio of building at the final card previously device. I wanted to give it a try. Same scheme with a 3D Wraith 9 I got. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I think we are at an end to the stream. 2 hours. Exactly almost 2 hours. But thank you everyone so much for sharing. I really appreciate everyone hanging out and chatting and submitting their miniatures to this fun little community event I do every 2 weeks. But I will see you all on Wednesday with more continuing to paint the Goth Rocker. I don't know what time I'm going to start at. We'll see. But have a good rest of your day, everyone. And I will hopefully see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.